introducing Nick Timmerman from Midmark Corporation. They're down from Versailles, Ohio. They're down by Sydney. They make equipment that goes into like doctor's offices, veterinary offices, tables, dentists, equipment, sterilizing equipment, sleep apnea equipment. Just raise your hand if I'm not loud enough, or if you need a little louder, because I got kind of a cold. But I'm going to go ahead and read his bio here. Attendees will discuss the challenges of moving to a bring-your-own-device environment, what has worked well or hasn't worked well for your organization, learn from your peers on how to move a company's culture, business processes, and management from corporate-owned devices to personal-owned devices. What are the business units asking for? What is IT able to provide? What is the company willing to pay for? How do you separate the business use from the personal use of mobile devices? Join the discussion and walk away with different perspectives on a fast-changing, continually evolving opportunity. Nick received both his undergraduate degree in Management Information Systems and his MBA from Wright State University. He has been employed with Midmark Corporation as a programmer analyst, technical support manager, and is currently the manager of enterprise infrastructure. Midmark's enterprise infrastructure includes a network, telecommunications, server and database administrators, PC technicians, and the IT service desk. Nick enjoys spending time with his wife and 3 daughters, and enjoy camping, museums, bike riding, swimming, horseback riding, sports, and competitive shooting. And also, we got a little present for you. Being a presenter at the LRITA conference, it's not a big budget gift, but you get a 4 gig LRITA USB flash drive. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for that introduction.
You're welcome.
I'll expand a little bit on who Midmark is and what Midmark does. Midmark is in Versailles, Ohio. That is our corporate headquarters. We do have 5 locations here in the U.S., 3 in Europe, and 2 in Asia. So our corporate data center is in Versailles. We have about 1,200 employees worldwide. 800 of those or so are here in the U.S. That does not include the number of employees we have in our India locations, which is about another 400 to 500 employees based on the season. We have about 400 to 450 mobile devices in the environment, or cellular lines. That includes both our Air cards, BlackBerry devices, iPhones, iPads now as well. So I'll share a little bit of what we're doing at Midmark, but we definitely do not have the answers. You know, we've tried some things, and there's some things that that we haven't taken a step on yet. So I'm eager to hear from you guys what you're doing at your companies, what challenges you're having as well. What I've found is it's not technology that seems to be the problem. There's solutions for BYOD. You know, as any of you that attended the first session, Cisco has a wealth of solutions that you can talk to them about, you know, regarding security and different things. And so I'll try to stay away from some of what he talked about in the first session and really focus on the business processes. What's the business asking for? Who signs off on process changes, or how much risk the company's willing to accept? So if I want to use a mobile device management or mobile data management solution to secure my iPhone or other Android device, who's saying, yes, I'm going to use good mobile messaging versus mobile iron versus just ActiveSync? Who are you engaging from a legal perspective on that policy, if you have a policy, that a teammate or employee has to sign so that they can get their personal device onto your network and access your IT services? Who's reviewing that, and have you enforced it yet? That's a big concern for our legal department. Is, you know, what's the precedent? Has the precedent been set when somebody has a personal device, they're accessing Midmark's infrastructure, they were using ActiveSync, which we allowed up until the end of last year, to access IT services, they leave the company. Maybe it's a mutually beneficial separation. They leave to pursue another interest. Maybe it's a termination that isn't kind of an ugly termination. In which case, I want to wipe that device. So they have a personal device. Well, here to come find out, they're running a real estate business and they have a lot of their information on that device, and I just wiped it. Yeah, they signed that policy, but how many times do you sign something? Is it going to hold up in court? is Midmark going to be liable for lost business, for that individual with their separate company, those types of things. So it's constantly changing, it's constantly evolving, and what I want to do today is, I'm not a salesman. I don't represent, Cisco or another solution provider. So, and I don't have all the answers. So rather than this being a presentation, it's really going to be more of a roundtable. So, not exactly the format that I'm used to from a roundtable discussion. It's a little bit better when it's more of a circle, but really looking for your guys' input into how you're doing with some of these challenges. And I have some leading questions that will hopefully get some of the discussion going. But could be a very short session if you don't have questions or care to share your experiences so far. But by no means has Midmark solved any of or all of these issues. So I'll chime in with my 2 cents, which I've been told I'm very willing to do. So I'll give you my thoughts on it, but there's people here in this room that have different experiences. You guys have different skill sets, so please chime in, because that's what the roundtable is intended to do, is learn from each other. So like I said, I won't really focus on the technology or a specific solution. I'm not a salesman, and it's not a presentation. So how this session goes isn't going to be so much up on to me as it is going to be to the entire group. So I really broke this down into 3 areas to get the discussion going. Risk management, budget, and administration and support. So I have some questions I'll throw up here, but I'm interested if you have questions or if you want to share what your company is doing right now. So I'll start with, who's allowing personal liable devices onto the network? So about a third to a quarter. Are you securing those devices with mobile data management or any other tool? You want to share what you're doing?
Basically just, if you do a data wipe or something like that, we just make sure that's enabled.
So you're managing that through, are you using like
tools are provided by the devices.
By the device itself?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody using, using ActiveSync to connect that?
Yeah.
Some of them? So you're not separating the personal data from the corporate data at this point?
Right now, no.
Okay. And we were in the same boat right up until we received approved budget approval to spend some money to separate the data. Until then, ActiveSync's it's priced right.
Yeah.
It's free. So, who else is allowing personal devices? What type of connectivity are you allowing?
I'm not in charge of it, but we're using mobile iron, separate data, remote wipe. A lot of control over what data they do access or have on the phones.
Okay. So using mobile iron does give a lot of control. That's what we've started to use. We started to deploy mobile iron starting in December of last year. We've had a lot of good success with it, being able to remotely wipe just the corporate data and restrict certain applications and a lot more granular detail with it than what we had with ActiveSync. But you pay per license, so it comes at a cost, and that's what a lot of these things you're balancing. What am I willing to pay for, or what is the company willing to pay for, and how much risk am I willing to accept?
I don't know mobile iron. I'm just wondering if you could say a little bit.
Sure.
What kind of costs you're talking about, like per 50, per 100, per 1,000?
Sure.
How does it actually work? I mean, how do you separate corporate data from the personal data?
Mobile iron, good mobile messaging. Those were a couple that we looked at. Good mobile messaging, and there's a number of products out there from all types of solution providers. But the 2 that we looked at specifically, we basically gave our executive team 3 options. We said, hey, you can have ActiveSync where we can wipe the device, but we really can't separate the personal data from the corporate data. We gave them the option kind of in the middle with mobile iron, where you get a lot more of the features and functionality of, say, the iPhone or whatever device you're using. But it still basically encapsulates the corporate data separate from the personal device, so you can wipe just that data. And then we had the Good Mobile Messaging, which we had used 4 or 5 years ago. When we first went to smartphones and we deployed them, we were using Good Mobile Messaging. And for those that aren't familiar with Good Mobile Messaging, it's kind of the BES for everything that's not a BlackBerry. So you have really all the same types of functionality that you would have with your BES server if you have BlackBerries in your environment. That's
You might not know what BES means.
BES. BlackBerry Enterprise Server. So it allows you to really lock down what you can do with that device and what you can't do. So kind of had the wide open with ActiveSync all the way across to as secure as we can make that mobile device. But you lose functionality. You lose, hey, I want to use that native mail application on my iPhone to access my email. Well, you're not using that, with Good Mobile Messaging. It's basically loading an application onto that phone. You're accessing your email and stuff through that. So yes, it's designed for the iPhone, but it's not the native application. So there's little tweak differences that users. Well, that's why I wanted the iPhone, was because I wanted to use that GUI that I'm used to. So there's some differences between those. And if anybody else wants to go into more detail, Mobile Iron, if you know anything more about it than that, that's at a high level.
I just wonder, on the Mobile Iron, is that a server that you guys maintain, or how does that service work?
It is a per license fee, and it is a server that you can either host internally or you can have it hosted by a third party. The licensing cost around that, to your first question that I didn't answer, licensing costs can be between $50 and $75 depending on the number of licenses you're going to purchase. Whereas Good Mobile Messaging, you're going to about twice that. You're talking between $125 to $150 a license. So the more secure you want it to be, the more you're going to pay. Whereas ActiveSync, if you can set that up and there's no additional cost, but you get less functionality with it as well. So you can deploy it. Mobile Iron, Good Mobile Messaging can be either local or hosted by a third party. We chose to install it locally, so we do have a server in-house, and we administer it that way. But I'm interested, is anyone else using Mobile Iron or Good Mobile Messaging or another MDM solution? How many still have BlackBerries in their environment? Boy, that is a dying number, isn't it? It's about 4 of us. And I still have a BlackBerry, so I'm one of the. I'm not up for renewal yet, so we'll see if I move to the iPhone or something else.
Our last BlackBerry user just dropped off the server yesterday, I think it was, the day before, switched over to an iPhone, so I get to decommission the BES server tomorrow. So
but yet you have all those licenses you paid for. That's where we're at. We're saying, hey, for personal liable devices, if you have a BlackBerry, it's no cost because we have all these extra licenses now on the BES server. So if you have BlackBerry, go ahead and connect it, no additional cost. But what do you guys, talking a lot about cost? Does IT incur the cost in your company for your cellular devices, or does each business unit, each individual's cost center, take ownership for those costs?